Today's video is about cherry, foam brush, and polyurethane, and specifically oil-modified polyurethane. So yeah, if you look behind me, you can see how I am working on finishing. Oh, it's how do you get those hands to move? There you go. I'm working on, those are drawer fronts, and I also have some door fronts. I'm working on finishing that for a cabinet. And I thought it'd be interesting to take a deep dive into how I like to finish cherry right now in 2020. Like many things in woodworking, there's more than one way to do it. When it comes to a film finish, I like to use a polyurethane. You know, this is going to be a bathroom vanity, so there's obviously going to be water involved, so you really want a film finish. I do use spray lacquer on small projects. I don't tend to use lacquer on big projects because I don't really have a spray booth and exhaust fan and all that. I'm in a basement shop. So yeah, very specifically, cherry, black cherry, that's what I'm finishing. I'm using water-based stuff and I'm not spraying. So that's what this video is all about, how I like to brush water-based poly. So regular viewers know I've been using this oil-modified stuff from Minwax for the last few years. No, they're not sponsoring me. I paid my own money for this. I just really like it because it is despite the name, it is a water-based finish, so it doesn't have much scent. It's real easy to clean up. And I can just go to my local big box store like 5 minutes down the road and they got tons of it. So it's easy to buy here in Canada. But it still gives just a bit of that amber look that everybody raves about with oil finishes. So I have a video, it's there or there, I always get those mixed up. I have a video I'll put up in the cards where I did a finished test on when I was doing my kitchen 2 years ago. So I looked at a whole bunch of different things. You can look at that video for going a little bit deeper, which more or less confirmed that I like this stuff. So I think that's a long enough intro. Let's just get into doing it. So here's a piece of rough cherry. I'm not taking you right back to the beginning. I start with rough cherry, I joint it, I plane it, you know, I cut a piece to size, and then you end up with something like this when you're ready to get going on finishing. If you have a really nice planer, you might jump right into sanding with 100 or 150 grit even. If you have any tool marks that you need to clean up, or if you have like a little bit of a glue line going on here, you're probably going to want to start with 80 grit, which is what I did here. And now let me bring you in really close. Yeah, I brought you in close more or less to show you how bringing you in close doesn't do any good. Your eyes aren't going to help you here. You got to touch it. This piece of cherry has been sanded with 80 grit in the random orbit sander, and it looks great. But you can feel in your hands, there's just sort of, I won't say rough, but you can definitely feel a texture, if you will, a bit of a catch to your skin. You can just feel it as you move along. Then I took this other piece, and both had been sanded to 80 grit, and then I put 150 grit in the random orbit, and I sanded that one to 150 grit. And this, I won't call it glass smooth, but it is beautifully smooth now. You can still, your fingers can still feel that there's grain lines in it. You can just feel a little bit, but on the whole, this is ready for finish. And yeah, I know some people are going to yell at their screens now that, oh, you got to go to 200 or 220 or 320. Sure, do what you want. I've probably said this many times and I'll probably say it many times. There's more than one way to do it. Polyurethane is a film finish. If I was going for an oil finish or something that's going to be more in your hands and touched, I might go to 200. And yeah, end grain. Often you want to take end grain to a higher grit than face grain because it just really is going to soak up the finish. And so yeah, sometimes you will take end grain one step further. Yeah, I usually stop at 150. I find that enough. I find that I can still get a really nice glassy smooth polyurethane finish on my wood. Pure water-based stuff is often a milky white. This oil-modified stuff, it's not milky white, it's got just a hint of brown to it. And when you get down to the dregs in an older can, it's often just a bit darker. I'm thinking it's because it gets a little bit that you don't mix it properly always, maybe. Anyways, but it still works. So I like these things. You can get, I'll have links to them in the description. These are pretty cheap. They're just these plastic pyramids for holding your workpiece. You can also just get a board and put some nails in it, but if you're going to do both sides of the board at once, you need a way to hold it with minimal contact. So let's start here on the bottom, if you will, of my piece, and I am just dipping the brush in, and I hold it and I let it drip. I don't squish the sides. You don't want to introduce air bubbles into it. And it's pretty simple. Water-based is something that you're not really supposed to work a whole lot. You lay it out, and then I will go over it and just maybe drag once if I see any bubbles or anything. It's very forgiving, I find. If it does bubble up, it's polyurethane. You sand it down again. Right away, gives a nice color to the wood. And that's the back side. Grab it by the edges, flip it over, and that's why you want something with just a little point on it. So I'm just 4 little points that are holding the piece, and now I can move on with the other side. There's not like, it's not dripping out of here. It's just, you just have enough in the brush to be able to put it out there. The corners are places where I'm always trying to be careful that the brush has less finish in it at that point, because I really don't want any drips gathering along here. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll take the brush when it's pretty much empty and I'll just run it like this underneath the edge, just in case there's anything there. I want to catch it, and any drips, if there's any drips developing there, I want to catch them before they get going. And that's it for coat number 1. Let's talk about raising the grain. Yeah, raising the grain. You'll hear people talk about that frequently. Oh, let's mist it with water first and raise the grain. I don't bother with raising the grain. I don't think I've ever bothered with raising the grain, because yeah, it's a water-based finish. It's gonna raise the grain. So yeah, if you spray it with water, it'll raise the grain. You can sand it down, and then when you put your first coat on, it's not gonna raise the grain as much. You still gotta sand it. I just go right with the first coat of finish on bare wood. Yes, it raises the grain. So let's take a look at that. So these pieces have had their first coat of finish on, and yeah, I don't know why I'm saying let's take a look at it, because again, you need to feel it with your fingers. And you need to get in the frame. You feel it with your hands, and so this has had 1 coat of the oil modified polyurethane on it. I got interrupted, so it's actually, this has been drying for 2 days, but you can feel it. It kind of feels, well, it feels rough. It doesn't feel like sandpaper rough, but it definitely feels rough. So I've got the first coat of finish on, it's dry. I take a piece of 220 grit sandpaper. If it's worn a bit, I don't care, because I don't want to sand through the finish. And I'm taking this, and you give it a light sanding. And you got to trust your hands again. There's not much. You want to feel it to go smooth, front and back. And you might as well put on your headphones, because it's going to take you, 5-10 minutes, so you might as well listen to a podcast or something while you're doing it. Sponsored by Audible? No, it's not. Your hands are going to get dusty, because you're touching constantly. You're feeling everything. And since I haven't stained, it's just bare polyurethane, if you do sand through the finish, and you probably will, especially around the corners where it's thin, you just put more poly on. You know, it's not like there's no stain to be stained through. It's a clear coat finish, so if you do sand through the finish, you're just back to bare wood and you're just putting more finish on. So, and yeah, as you see, I dropped the block at some point because I just want to have it under my fingers. So yeah, so there's one piece. I let the film run through the whole time just to give you an idea how quick it is, and I've got a whole bunch more to do, so I'm going to stop the camera now and get those all done, and then we will check back in. So after all the sanding, I pick up the shop vac. Now if this was a small project, I might just brush it off with the, the brush from the dustpan, but since there's a lot of pieces here, just pick up the shop vac and suck up all the dust that you've, it's all over your hands too. So it's all been sanded. I'm happy with the results. I vacuumed off all the dust, and then I positioned all the pieces so I've got the back side facing up. So I want to do the back side first. And this is the second coat, by the way, and each coat goes a little quicker because there's less soaking in that happens. Like when you start with bare wood, obviously it just soaks in the finish, so it doesn't go very far. Here, I can just make it go farther. I still like to keep things fairly thin because I really don't want runs. And I will lean over a fair bit. You want to look at an angle, and then you can get the light going across the piece. You can see anything where it needs a bit more finish, or if it looks like it's bubbling a bit and you want it to just knock that down. And then on to the next piece. And remember, do not touch the can with the brush. You're not knocking any finish off. If there's too much finish, you just shake it a little bit and let it drop, and then it just is absorbed into the foam brush, and then you can put it out here. Okay, it's a couple of minutes later and I've got the back sides all done. I didn't do any of the sides, and I did it on purpose so I could just take my hands and grab the piece and flip it without touching the finish much. Water-based dries really fast, not quite that fast, but still, on these pieces, which were the first ones, there's hardly anything there that looks like it has enough that could run. Now, I don't think I mentioned earlier, but I hope you picked up on the fact that I am brushing with the grain here. As you get to like the third and the fourth coat, it matters less because everything's been filled in, but to begin with, and habitually I'm still going to go with the grain. So that's the end of the second coat. See if I can read this fine print. So 2 hours for this particular finish. Always read the can. So I'm going to wash out my brush. That's the beauty of water-based finish. I just take it upstairs to the laundry sink, or sometimes even the kitchen sink, and you just rinse, flush it with water. As you might see, these are just sort of your basic disposable foam brushes. I buy them in a big pack from Lee Valley, but you can still rinse them out and reuse them, rinse them and reuse them, and you'll start to feel it in your fingers when it's feeling a bit crusty. But usually I'll get all the coats of a particular project out of one little 50-cent brush. So it's actually about 3 or 4 hours later, and second coat is dry and looking awesome. And now it's time to do it again. Sand it all again, vacuum it all again, and put on the third coat. The only really difference is that instead of a 220 grit paper this time, I'm using a 320 grit. exact numbers don't matter as long as it's a higher grit, because you want to sand it less now. It feels, it's not at the glass smooth, but it's feeling a lot better now. And so yeah, I've shown all the other step in detail. We can probably skip through this. It's sand it, vacuum off the dust, wipe off the dust, and put on another coat of finish. Maybe that's not entirely all there is to it. The sanding is much lighter now. And again, you're still using your fingers. Make sure you run your hands along and just make sure everything feels good to the touch. And here you can see a drip, and I'm kind of glad this happened so I can show you how to deal with it. This is actually the second drip I had, and the first one I scraped away, and I'm like, oh, somebody might want to know how to deal with that, because it's actually not a big deal. Here I got a chisel, and I can just come along and I can scrape it off like that. This was a fairly big one, so I'm scraping it along like that. And then I take the chisel and I will use it like a scraper. So I'll bring it like this. If it's just a little drip, I would just do this right at the beginning even. And I'm taking it until, yeah, I can't feel anything anymore. Bring in the sandpaper. And here it is, all cleaned up and back to smooth wood. Now here you can see it looks like it might be just going through to bare wood there. It's just got a little bit of a paler cast to it, but that's okay. This is the back of the drawer, and I will cover, this will get covered up with the current coat of finish, which is the third coat, and I'm probably still gonna do a fourth. So just as I mentioned on the previous coat, you're putting less on each time. So now I've dipped the brush in once, and I'm pretty much getting almost half of the back of this door with the finish that's in the brush. A little bit goes a long way with your subsequent coats. And that's the third coat done pretty quickly. So again, wait another 2 hours, and yeah, that 2 hours is one of the nice things about water-based finishes over like these oil-based finishes where you gotta wait 24 hours. This is a Saturday. It is 5:15. I'm gonna go work on supper right now, but I should be able to get back here tonight and do a third coat, which would be the fourth, because I did, my first coat was done a few days ago. I did the second coat around noonish, and now I've done the third coat. So yeah, you could actually, if you're on top of things, you could get in here like at 8 in the morning, say. You could do coat 1 of a project. You could wait like 3 hours until like 11, then you sand, and by the time you're done it's noon, so that's your second coat. You could do 3 coats, maybe even 4 coats in a day. And yeah, I totally understand that the people who spray, they get done even quicker. But that is to say, that's not the topic of this video. This topic is about brushing, and with brushing, you could still do 3 or maybe 4 coats, depending on the size of your project, in one day. And that's it for now. So off to wash my brush, and we'll check in again with the fourth coat and then a wrap up, I think. So about 3 hours later, and the third coat is good and dry. It feels good. Very, very nice, smooth, a little bit of texture to it. You probably could stop here if you want to. I'm going on with a fourth coat. I'm still using the 320 grit paper for this. I'm just sanding very lightly. Oh yeah, that's nice and smooth. And I might not even do the inside. Might just do the face. We'll see about that. But whether I do a fourth coat on both sides or just the inside doesn't really matter. I think that's enough for this video. There's nothing else new that I would be teaching you. Sanding, finish, I'm like, you can go on to 10 coats if you really want to. And from this point on, it's the same process. Very light sanding, another coat of finish. And that's it for my deep dive into how I like to finish cherry with polyurethane in 2020. I hope you found something interesting in this video, learned something. If you feel I've earned it, please consider subscribing, and we'll see you on the next one.